Hello everybody and welcome back for yet another episode of the Doll Symposium. We're now on episode 23 and boy, it has been a long time since the last episode. So for those of you that don't know, I am your host Shizusan and my lovely assistant today is the very beautiful Asuna Yuki from Sword Art Online. So yeah, it's it's been a really long time, and I know I've addressed this prior on my last random live that I did. It was kind of like an update video on where I've been, what I'm doing, etc, etc. But we are finally back, and we are going to try and do something different. So my new show, which is called Beyond the Doll, is going to be every Friday at 10 p.m. and it's going to be a live show. Not every Friday. It's going to be on Fridays at 10, starting at 10 p.m. and it's going to be every other Friday. So the next episode is going to be next Friday from today's date. And what I plan to do is do the Doll Symposium every other Friday, which is the ones between Beyond the Doll. So it should be Beyond the Doll, Doll Symposium, Beyond the Doll, Doll Symposium, etc, etc. I'll just keep on going like that. So every Friday you will get a new video, whether it's going to be the live filming of Beyond the Doll or the recorded episode of the Doll Symposium. I was tossing around the idea of making the Doll Symposium a live video, but I decided against it only because I already have a live video for Beyond the Doll. I think the Doll Symposium should just be recorded. And also this way I can also put out the Doll Symposium earlier. Hopefully, if I do it right, this should be airing around a little bit before lunchtime on Fridays, at least for the Eastern Seaboard of America. So for those of you in other parts of the world, it might be a different time. But for here on the East Coast, it's going to be right before lunchtime, so people can watch the episode during lunch, during the lunch break at work, or, you know, if anything, you could just watch it when you come home or whatever, and it's not really beholden to a specific time at night so that people have to watch it the next day. So at least for the most part, everyone should be able to watch it on Friday. I hope. At least for the United States, it'll still be Friday. Other parts of the country, other parts of the world, I'm not really sure. I didn't really do the math on when it will air everywhere else. But yeah, the Doll Symposium will be pre-recorded and it will be around Eastern time, somewhere time around lunch. Yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, why don't we start the video? I have a couple of small announcements at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for the end for a couple small announcements that I'm going to be making. Also, Asuna, you know, the way my room is set up right now is I can't have Asuna, you know, standing here with me through the whole video, kind of like how I did in prior episodes of 3 Minute Thursdays and the Doll Symposium. Unfortunately, there's just no more space for her to stay unless I hold on to her through the whole video, and it's really taxing on my hand to hold her for the whole time. I mean, she's on a stand, but just balancing the stand while I'm talking is kind of a little bit annoying. So she's gonna go off to the side in her little space over here. So goodbye for now for Asuna. She'll be back later though at the end of the video. So we are gonna put her, there we go. I'm gonna put her off to the side. So as always, we are going to start with Dollfie Dream for the Doll Symposium. And before we do that, why don't we switch views, right? So we're going to switch views to the next one. Okay, so here's the new setup for the Doll Symposium. I kind of borrowed it from Beyond the Doll because I really do like the way it's set up. So all I really did was use the same settings so you guys can see my information down below. It's going to show you my Twitter and Instagram handle, as well as right above me it's going to show you what show you're watching. So now you know it's the Doll Symposium, or you'll know it's Beyond the Doll because it has the name right up top, so you can't miss it there. That's one of the things I was thinking about when I was doing the show, because in the regular Doll Symposium or 3 Minute Thursdays you couldn't really discern the difference when it was those, whether it was 3 Minute Thursday or Doll Symposium, unless you watched the very beginning. Also, if you watch like other videos of mine, like unboxing or things like that, you wouldn't know unless you watch from the beginning what I was actually doing. So it's kind of nice having the title right there. Hopefully you guys, you like the setup. It's the same setup from Beyond the Doll, just change the titles. But anyways, let's get into the nitty gritty. I mean, this is what you guys are really here for, right? So we're going to start with Dollfie Dream first. And first up, the topic will be Doll Party 47. So for those of you that don't know, Dolls Party 47 already happened. It was back in April 17. And it's one of those events that happen live at a convention hall or something like that, like Tokyo Big Sight, something like that in Japan. And it's a live event where people go and buy things. And every Dolls Party or Dolpa that I could think of has always had a new release of dolls. So this time around, it was Revolutionary Girl Utena that was released. And on May 29th of this year is going to be the after event. So the after event is usually that time after the actual event where international buyers can get their chance to buy whatever was available at Dolpa if you weren't able to go to the actual thing, which right now you most likely weren't unless you lived in Japan because the borders were closed for the most part. I mean, it's open to certain people, but for the most part. So anyways, Dolls Party 47 after event will be on the Volks International website on May 29th of 2022. And we are going to be talking about specifically right here the release of Revolutionary Girl Utena and Anfi. Now, as far as we know, on May 29th, 2022, it's going to go live at 10 a.m. Now, that's 10 a.m. Japan time, which is usually, at least here for the Eastern Seaboard, I think it's like 9 p.m. at night. Yeah, I think it's like 9 p.m. at night on the 29th. So yeah, that'll go live on that date. Now, the interesting thing is that this is going to definitely be a click war. There is no pre-order usually for a Dolls Party after event. There's no pre-order times. I mean, there may have been one in the past, maybe two at most, that during an after party maybe there was a small little pre-order window, but I really don't think that's actually happened in an after event. I could be wrong. But the majority of the time, these after events are usually click wars. So if you are interested in Utena or Anfi, you might want to check it out on the Volks International website, May 29th at 10 a.m. JST. Now, for those of you that are interested, this is Revolutionary Girl Utena in the pink hair, and this is Anfi in the purple hair. Now, interesting thing to note is that Utena is going to cost you around 71,500 yen. If you want to convert that to US dollars, it's roughly somewhere around 700 bucks, I would say. And then Anfi, which is on the right with the purple hair, she's actually a little bit more. She's going to be 73,700 yen, which I'm assuming is going to be just above $700. I don't know why Anfi costs so much more. If I were to assume, I think it's because she's on a T body. Historically, anything from Volks, which is like a normal skin, even semi-white skin, is usually around like the same price. So if you get semi-white or you get flesh, it's usually around the same price. But what usually costs more is the tan skin dolls. They usually cost a lot more for tan. So if you do want Anfi, just be aware that she's going to cost a lot more than Utena. Also be aware, if you are interested in getting a tan doll from Volks, just be aware that replacement parts are more expensive and harder to find, as tan is not available year-round. It's only available through certain seasons, which I think is during the spring and summertime. So if you were to buy a doll in fall or winter, there's probably not going to be any parts available, at least directly from Volks. But that's also really hard to do because that's only in store. So you can only really get tan if you go to the stores in Japan. They're not available to buy online. There have been certain events or certain items sometimes on Volks USA or Volks International where they become available, but that's very few and far between. It's usually during some kind of like D-Cord event, like a special D-Cord event, etc., etc. So if you are getting Anfi, just be aware that any replacement parts, extra hand packs or things like that, a new body or a different size bust, is going to be a lot harder for you to get your hands on. Now, if you have friends that live in Japan, or if you use a proxy service like Japan Doll Direct, which I always vouch for because they're lovely over there, they help me with everything I need personally, you can always use one of those proxy services to shop for you in Japan. Now, of course, if you use one of these services, it will cost you a little extra because you have to pay, you know, a service fee for them to go out and get these things for you, you know, and then plus shipping and all that. So just be aware, if you are going for Anthe, she's going to be a little bit more money, and she's going to cost a little bit more to buy replacement parts. But that's Revolutionary Girl, Utena series, Utena and Anthe. Just be aware, May 29th on the Volks International website. Now that brings us on to our next point, which is not traditionally what I cover, but I've been doing it specifically for this series. And that is the Super Dollfie Disney collection. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Super Dollfie, it's not the same as a Dollfie Dream. These are resin dolls. Resin are a lot harder, they're a lot more heavier, and they don't have an internal skeleton like vinyl dolls. They're actually strung up on the inside with rubber bands, strings, etc. So these are very different, but Volks has, I guess, an agreement with Disney, and they've been releasing so many of these. Well, I say so many, but a couple of these Disney dolls already, which was Rapunzel and Cinderella. And recently they already released Anna and Elsa as the little mini SD deers, like the little chibi size ones, and now these are the regular size ones for SDGR, I think 13, I think they are, for these dolls. So if you're interested in getting a Super Dollfie Disney, the pre-order time is up right now on both Volks International website and the Volks USA website. You can pre-order them from either or, but there will be slight differences depending where you pre-order from. So if you pre-order it from Volks International website, the shipments will be coming out, I think it's, what's it called? I think it's going to be in May, right? I think it's May. Let me just double check, because see, this is a good thing I'm doing it like this, because then I can double check the online store while I'm doing my review here. Let me see. So yeah, this is, yeah, so it's going to be the pre-order period. Now, it started on April 18th, which is basically around the Dolpa time, and it ends on May 8th. So you don't have much time left to pre-order them. Now, when it happens and they start shipping them out in May, we don't know when in May, but I'm assuming like sometime towards the end of May they start shipping out. Now, be aware, those that are shipping out in May are more than likely going to be the ones that were pre-ordered at Dolpa. So it doesn't mean that you, the viewers that are usually watching here, are international buyers. Don't expect to get yours in May. They're doing it basically upon the time frame of pre-order, like who pre-ordered first, which is usually the people from Dolpa. And so they're going to get theirs first, sent in May. And then the people that ordered on the Volks International website, it's going to be Japan residents that are more than likely going to get theirs shipped next after the people that reserved at Dolpa. And then after the Japan residents get there, I'm assuming then they'll be shipped out to international buyers. So you may not, as an international buyer, like let's say you're in the United States, if you were to pre-order from the Volks International website, you probably won't get yours till July, maybe even as late as August. I'm just assuming, but we're pretty much, as international buyers, last on the shipping list for Volks International. And then when they finally do start sending out internationals, it's going to be based upon when you pre-ordered. So if you live in the US and you pre-ordered right on the date for April 18th, you're going to be part of the first shipments coming out. If that makes any sense. Now, if you pre-order from Volks USA, then you definitely won't be getting your Anna or Elsa until fall of 2022. They didn't specify when, they just said fall of 2022. So just be aware of that time difference for either of these dolls if you're interested in ordering them. Another thing is, what's it called? Let's move it to the next screen here. So another thing is, I just want to show you, this is what Elsa looks like. She comes with her dress. She comes with these icicle looking shoes, which is really cool. I didn't get a picture of that. And then you have Anna here, which looks really good herself. Now, it looks like Anna kind of has more clothing options to her because she's got the boots, she's got the inner dress, and then she has like the cowl with the hood. Whereas Elsa has her shoes and then just dressed with the long flowing cape. I mean, they both look lovely, but you know, I just feel like Anna kind of comes with a little bit more stuff. But interestingly enough, regardless of that fact, Elsa is going to cost you 132,000 yen, which roughly translates to around $1,000 US, right? And then you have Anna here, which is going to be 104,500 yen, which roughly translates to $950. So these girls are definitely more expensive than your average Dollfie Dream anime collaboration, which usually goes around like 685, 700. These are a little bit more for these collabs. And now I don't think that the price difference is because the resin, really. I just think that the difference is because the licensing agreement with Disney probably cost Volks a little bit more, so the dolls are costing a little bit more. If I'm not mistaken too, I think Cinderella and both Rapunzel also were a little bit higher in the scale as well. But remember, if you are interested in pre-ordering Anna or Elsa for the resin Disney princess dolls, the pre-order period started already at April 18th and it ends on May 8th. Okay, so just be aware of that. So next up is another interesting thing coming up here. This is called the Volks Store 50th Anniversary Campaign. Basically, they're just celebrating their 50th anniversary and they're doing it online. Now, what that means is you are going to be able to participate in 3 separate time frames. So what you have to do is you must make a purchase of at least 5,000 yen or more to be eligible. The time frames are, the first period is March 26th, which already started, and it ends on June 30th. And then the second period is July 1st to September 30th. And then the last period is going to be October 1st to December 31st. Those are 3 separate time periods. Now, the reason why I make that distinction is because if you spend 5,000 yen or more during those time periods, you get a chance to win a coupon basically for either 2,000 yen or 1,000 yen, which is roughly like 20 bucks or $10, give or take. So if you purchase during one of those 3 time frames, you have a chance to get a 2,000 yen coupon or 1,000 yen coupon that you can use on the Volks International website. Now, the 2,000 yen coupons, each period, so there's 3 different time frames, so each period there are only 10 winners. That's 30 winners in total for the 2,000 yen coupon. 10 winners each session. There's 3 sessions. And then for the 1,000 yen coupon, there are 140 winners every period. So you have like what? That's, I'm really bad at math. So it's 300, then 420, right? 420 winners for the 1,000 yen coupon. So that's in total, and there's 140 per time frame. Again, the time frames are March 26th to June 30th, July 1st through September 30th, and October 1st to December 31st. Now, there's a bonus coupon if you bought 5,000 yen or more in each period. So if you did an order for each time frame, then you get a special, you get your name entered into another special lottery for a, what's it called? Another 2,000 yen coupon, which in total, there can only be 10 winners. So if you spend 5,000 yen or more in every time period, you get entered for a chance to win another 2,000 yen coupon, which can only be 10 winners. So it's not like super buku savings, but still, it's a nice little gift. I mean, if you get the 1,000 yen coupon, I guess that kind of covers some of your tax, maybe. Maybe a portion of your shipping, if I don't really know. Like, it really depends on how much you order. Or if you get the 2,000 yen coupon, I mean, that definitely covers most likely a portion of your shipping. But let's say you were lucky enough to win 1,000 yen coupon each time frame, right? Let's say you were that lucky. That's 3,000 yen coupon. And then you also won the special coupon for 2,000, so that's 5,000 yen coupon. That's $50 US basically that you have a coupon for on the Volks International website. So if you were to win that, that's pretty good. So that's some good money right there. You win $50 off, but that's all chance, right? There's no guarantee you're gonna get any of that. You could spend 5,000 yen or more each time period and walk away with absolutely nothing. So, I mean, you take it for what you will. Even if you're not trying to be a winner, it's just a nice surprise. Like if you just so happen to want to buy something right now, because let's say you spent money during the Volks after event, right, for Anfi or Utena, or maybe one of the outfits that came out during Doll's Party 47, that qualifies you, right, if you spend 5,000 or more. And then let's say the second time period, if you bought something through Dollfie 48, which is coming in August, then, you know, and you paid 5,000 yen or more during Dollfie 48 to get something, then that qualifies you again. And if you were to buy something during Dollfie 49, which is during the December time, you know, that's another time that you can. So, you know, it really depends. Like if you basically participate in every Dollfie of the year, you know, you become eligible to win a coupon and eligible to win like the 3 time periods bonus coupon. So it really depends on how you look at it. You know, so take it for what you will, but it is a nice, it's a nice thing that that Volks is offering us, which I think is kind of cool. And definitely they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. Why not? So that's the anniversary campaign. Now the next thing I wanted to show you guys was basically because of my friend Demi in the last Beyond the Doll episode, or the very first episode. She was asking me a question about Kaito from Dollfie Dream. So Dollfie Dream did announce back in October of 2021 that they are going to be doing another collaboration with Vocaloids for Kaito the Dollfie Dream. And she was asking me basically, is there any more news? Well, I'm sorry, Demi, there's no news. They literally posted Kaito back in October, you know, like during I think it was the Hatsune Miku event that was going on. And that was it. They never, I did a bunch of research. I was looking up a bunch of stuff. I mean, I could be wrong, but I saw absolutely no news whatsoever for Kaito. So we still have no idea when he's going to be released. Now, if you were to ask me, my assumption is there's still Dollfie 48 and Dollfie 49 in August and December respectively. And every Dollfie, they usually, for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, they usually release a new doll. So Kaito could be announced, you know, for Dollfie 48 in August or Dollfie 49 in December. So fingers crossed, you know, hopefully Kaito will be this year. And if it's not this year, then probably in 2023 sometime. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry. No new Kaito news. But at least this gives you time to save up money, right? For Kaito. So so that's basically that. So that's everything for Dollfie Dream news this week. So we are going to be moving on to Smart Doll news. Now, for Smart Doll news, let's go over some of the dolls that were recently released. This was basically happening. I'm not going to go... I know there hasn't been a Doll Symposium in a long time, but I'm not going to go backtrack all the way back to then. So this is going to be more recent stuff. So in the month of April, apparently, was Coco month, because we have 4 new dolls that came out. Liberty Semi-Real in Coco, Fortitude Semi-Real in Coco, Oceana in Coco, and Curiosity in Coco. So these 4 girls were all released in the month of April. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're still available, actually, on the Smart Doll website. I almost pulled the trigger on Liberty Semi-Real because I really wanted to have like the vitiligo on one of the girls, and I almost pulled the trigger on her. But if I'm going to get one of the girls with the vitiligo, I want to get Courage and T. When is Courage and T coming out, Danny? Come on, let us know. I really want Courage, so I'm waiting. I'm gonna save my money for Courage because I really want to get her. But these are the 4 dolls that were released for the month of April. Now that brings us to other news. Let's move on. So in this next one, this is Kanata, the semi-real version. There is no ETA on Kanata as of yet, but basically this is what she looks like. For those of you that don't know, Kanata was released way back when Danny Chu was still doing Milk Dolls, and then she has since been discontinued. Now the good news is when he posted this prototype picture of Kanata in semi-real, he did say a revamped version of Kanata will be coming again sometime soon. So for those of you that's always wanted to buy Kanata, she's coming back. Most likely in Cinnamon, because Milk is not available anymore. So she'll most likely come back in Cinnamon, but he could throw us like a bone here or there. Maybe it's tea, maybe it's cocoa. We don't know for sure. But Kanata in, I'm assuming, anime version revamped is going to be coming out sometime in the future. Now, whether or not Kanata is going to look like the old version of Kanata just in Cinnamon, we don't know, because he did say revamped. Now, one of the things of the revamped is that he mentioned that the revamped version will have this hair. So the hairstyle that you see here on the semi-reel is going to be the hairstyle that you're going to get for the the revamped Kanata version. Now, she could also have slight tweaks to her. There might be like a makeup change, a blush change, because if you remember when Mirai got her upgrade to the anniversary edition, she looked a little bit different with the blush, and I think there was like a little bit of a sparkle to her in her blush. And then also more notable was Kizuna. The original Kizuna moving on to the new Kizuna, which was labeled as Athena in T. She ended up looking really different. Like, you could still tell it was Kizuna, but she looked pretty different than the original one. So just be aware that if you were waiting for Kanata to come back, she may not come back exactly how she looked before. So if you really were loving the original design of Kanata, then the only way you'd be able to get that would be buying it secondhand, unless Danny decides to just release the OG Kanata just in Cinnamon. It really depends, but he did say a revamped or refinished version, so that makes me kind of feel like she's gonna look slightly different. Now let's move on to the next one. This one is a new anime girl. This is a prototype of a new anime girl, and not only is she a new prototype of an anime girl, this is a brand new head sculpt. Now this head sculpt is going to be known as the M01 or the M01, I'm assuming, head sculpt. So I'm personally not very good at telling the differences between the head sculpts. I usually refer them to like Mirai sculpt or Chitose sculpt. I don't really know the code numbers. I know there's like a couple of them, like G02, G01. I think there's a COS or something like that, but I don't really know the codes. But this one in particular is known as the M01 or M01. There's no ETA on her, but she is pretty lovely. If you like that open mouth kind of look, she does look very pretty. And I really like that Solar Marine uniform, which is going to be coming out soon. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, the M01 head, be on the lookout because it may be released, and this particular doll may be going to the prototype garage. Who knows? So if you really love this girl, just keep an eye out. She may end up in the prototype garage, and then there might be a slightly revised version for a later date. Who knows? But she's definitely one of the new anime prototypes that's going to be coming out. Again, like I said, no ETA on her as of yet. Now, another prototype girl is going to be this one. This one is actually going into production. Now, whether or not this is the final version, I don't know. But considering the fact that he said it's going in production, I'm assuming this is the final version. Now, she is codenamed North. Now, whether or not North is going to be her actual name, we don't know yet. But it might be. And it kind of suits her now that I think about it. When I'm looking at her, North, yeah, she looks like she could be a North. But North has no ETA as of yet. She's just going into production. And if you really look at her, I think North is actually going to be part of the semi-real lineup. And the reason why I say that is that if you look at her nose right there, it does have that traditional semi-real kind of more protruding and nostril look to her. Because if you go back to the M01 head, you could tell right here that she doesn't have the nostrils. She has more of a pointed anime nose. So she's definitely an anime sculpt, as Danny Chu has said this is a prototype anime, versus this girl North, which I think she's definitely going to be a semi-real type girl. But again, no ETA for her yet. Now moving on to the next thing. April Fools, right? So it is that time, or it was that time. April 1st has passed. This is usually the time of the year where Danny talks about, like, or posts about rather, all these wild and crazy ideas that sometimes come to fruition and sometimes don't. So let's look through it. I know that I'm a little late to the game here because a lot of people have already made their speculations, but here's my take on things, right? So let's talk about the first one. This one here is the Evolve frame. The Evolve frame, Danny Chu says, is going to be released on, as he posted on April Fools, as the new inner skeleton. And apparently there's like all these wires and there's like these little 2 fluid tanks or whatever. Supposedly it has joints that are capable with Lego Technic joints. So Danny's been getting a lot into Lego lately, so I'm not surprised that he mentioned something about the joints being compatible with Lego Technic. So maybe you might be able to put like a Lego arm or something, or a leg, or put the torso and hook it onto like a 4-wheeled car body or something. I don't know, but it is really cool looking actually, and whether or not it's actually going to go in production, who knows. Again, this is another April Fool's joke that may come to fruition and may not come to fruition, who knows. Just to recap, Smart Doll Plus was originally an April Fool's joke and it came to life and then subsequently died because it was a little bit expensive and not many people were really buying them, and it tied up a lot of resources. Another April Fool's joke was the Centaur, which he actually started to make and then he kind of gave up partway down, but he actually was trying to make one at some point. So you never know. You never know. I mean, there were other April Fool's stuff, but you never know with Danny. He loves doing this stuff. So the next one coming up is going to be this one, which is a new head mold that he's labeling as the V01 head mold. And basically this head mold is just a head with no eye holes cut out. Now, my question is are the eye holes... Okay, is it like Dollfie Dream dolls where like the eye holes are not cut out but you can see the defined eye shape of what it should be? Or is it really just a blank like slate, like no indentations whatsoever of what the eye shape should be like, and then basically what you do is you just paint the eyes on? Any kind of... So if he were to release this, let's just say if he were to release this as a blank head, let's say in Chaos Heads, then this would be a cool thing for people that like to customize their dolls, and they'll paint on eyes, you know, and they could have all different kinds of shapes and colors, and you could paint their eyes closed or one open, one closed. It does open a lot of possibilities, but you would have to be pretty savvy in painting the eyes on. Or you could have a head and you could send it out to a customizer for somebody to do a face up on the doll and paint whatever eyes you want on. Other doll companies like A-Zone, for example, they have a lot of their dolls have painted eyes. You know, so it is definitely something that's viable that he could do. Whether or not he's actually going to do it, who knows? We'll see. But it is another one of his April Fool's joke. Now, this next one is an interesting one. This one is a new head cap that he's calling the Hemisphere. So he's saying basically, if you know, if for his April Fool's joke, that this is a new head cap that he's going to release that's going to come on supposedly all dolls in this gray color, and it'll cut down on production because then they don't have to make different batches in different colors to match the heads. And majority of the time you do cover the head with a head cap. So I mean, you never really, I mean a wig, so you never really see the head cap because the wig is over it, right? If you wanted to do a whole, like, I don't know, like a bald look for your dolls, then I could see where this could probably become an issue, and you would need to either find a head cap in the skin tone color that you need on the secondhand market or whatever. But supposedly this, if he were to release this, this would cut down on production and resources and everything, just making it all one color. Now, another thing that is pretty interesting about this Hemisphere cap, not to state the obvious, is the little SD card sticking out the back. So he's saying, like, he's basically saying that you can hide an SD card in the head cap. Like, you just push it in and it will hold it there to hide it. Like, if you were to, like, hide something, like maybe how much money you spent on dolls from your significant other in a digital file, and then you put on this SD card and hide it in the head cap. Put the wig on, none's the wiser, right? But it has nothing to do, at least he didn't mention in his post, it has nothing to do with putting in an SD card into the head cap. It can read it and then it shows on a computer screen or anything like that. No, there's nothing technological about it. It literally just stores your card for you. Another thing that you could see in the picture here is these little circles here. Those are actually magnets. He's saying that the magnets will be in the head, well, not stock, but supposedly you can buy the magnets from Daiso and then put them in those little circular spots in the head where you can get like headphones or ears or something that you can attach magnet to, and it would just hold on to the doll, which is in essence not a bad idea. I think it would be kind of cooler if it came with the magnets, but who knows. But again, it's April Fool's, so none of this may even happen. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the future, but that's essentially what he was, pitching to us on April Fool's. And then the other one here, and this one's an interesting one, the Biomecha boots, which they look pretty interesting and very futuristic. I believe these prototype ones are made out of vinyl so that you can just kind of like open them up, stick the foot in, and it kind of closes on itself. I do not think they come with any kind of zipper or Velcro attachment or anything. I think it's kind of like how the new, vinyl boots that he made came out. You just kind of like slip them on. But they look pretty interesting. He also said in his post that he wants to make human versions of it too, so I don't know how well that's going to go. I think that this is one of those things that definitely will be in April Fool's, is never going to come to fruition. The other three I can kind of see happening if he wanted to really make it happen. But the boots, I think, in my opinion, I don't think that's ever going to come to fruition. But who knows? Maybe because I said that, Danny's going to be like, I'll prove them wrong, and then he makes them anyways. So you never know. Another interesting thing about these boots is that he said he designed them in a way where it doesn't matter which side you put the boot on. Like, they all look, what's the right word? Asymmetrical or something like that. They're all like kind of like the same size or shape, and so it doesn't matter what side of the foot you put it on. They'll all work, and this will cut down on production, having to make a left side and a right side, and then like having to make more right sides because some of the right sides came out bad and they went to the chaos thing. So, like, if having them all one size would just cut down on that process, which sounds all well and dandy, but I don't know look wise, because you can't really tell from this picture. I don't know how it will look like in person, like when I actually put it on my doll. Like, am I really going to be able to tell the difference? I don't know. But again, these 4 pictures are all April Fool's stuff. They may or may not ever come into fruition. Time will only tell. Now, lastly, for April Fool's, this is the big one. Danny posted this picture here that apparently Walt Disney wants to hire him as a member of their new applications team. I know so many people have commented under the pictures, so many speculations, people saying, oh my god, Danny, you're leaving, or many people saying, oh my god, it's an April Fool's joke, don't fall for it. This is just really funny. I think it's really funny because Danny's not leaving for Disney. Now, Danny may consult for Disney. That's not out of the question. He may consult, but I don't think he'd ever leave his baby for Smart Dolls. Never. I don't think he's ever gonna leave being a Smart Doll owner, creator, Smart Doll everything kind of guy. If anything, at the very least, he could consult maybe for them. I don't think this is real. Plus the fact that at the very bottom of that tweet, he made it a point to mention that he checked what time it is in the US before posting. So when he posted it, it was actually still April Fool's Day when he posted it here in America. Now, it wasn't April Fool's Day anymore in Japan when he posted it. So that's where the kind of debate was like, oh, well, he posted it and it wasn't April Fool's in Japan, so it's, it could be real. And then people were like, well, he made it a point to say that he was checking what time it was on USA before he posted, so it's definitely April Fool's and it's fake. Either way, my personal opinion is this is definitely April Fool's joke. If there was anything remotely true about this, he could probably consult for Disney if they really wanted him as a consultant. Even if you were to take it one step further, maybe this is a hint that he was able to get a license with Walt Disney, right? I mean, Volks is doing a license with the Disney princesses, but Walt Disney owns a lot of things, right? So Walt Disney has Marvel. He's already doing DC, right? Walt Disney has Marvel. This could be a slight hint that he got a licensing agreement with Marvel. We might be seeing Marvel dolls. Who knows? They also have Star Wars, right? Walt Disney owns Star Wars right now. We could be seeing Star Wars dolls. Princess Leia, you know? You could get Rey. You could get, you know, I don't know. You could get Luke Skywalker. Who knows? You could get the Mandalorian. He already like tweeted out pictures of his Mandalorian costume. You never know. If I were to take it that even one extra step further, this could be a hint that maybe he got a licensing agreement with Walt Disney. We don't know. It's all speculation. All of this is speculation. You know, don't be like sending Danny messages. Oh, Shizusan said that you got licensing with Walt Disney and that's what it meant. No. I don't know this for sure. I'm just guessing. It's an April Fool's joke, okay? It can't, you know, all of this is just me guessing. So take it with a grain of salt. April Fool's joke. I think this was the funniest one of them all that he ever did. because of the controversy it sparked in the comments section, everybody was speculating and people were going nuts. So this was a pretty good one, Danny. I have to give it to you. People like that one. Now the next one, this one I'm really excited to talk about, this next part. Danny posted here that he recently went to the Bandai Namco headquarters. Now this is technically a visit to Bandai Namco Filmworks, which is they're calling their white base, as you can see from the sign there, is the white base in Ogikubo in Japan. Now, what he talked about, he didn't say. Obviously, it's on the hush-hush, but he did say in the posting, release of some goodies, blank, 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 soon. Now, a lot of people have been speculating what those blanks were. People were counting the dashes, you know, what words could fit in there, what you could say in there. There's a lot of different ways that you could take this, right? If you were to ask me, my personal opinion is he went to Bandai Namco. Okay, Bandai Namco has a lot of different things, including Gundam, but not only that, but Sunrise, you know, so, you know, he's been doing deals with Sunrise for Code Geass, and then he has the thing with Naruto, which hasn't been released yet, that's also under Bandai Namco, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason why I think it's going to be a Gundam collaboration is because, A, the white base, right? If you're not familiar with Gundam, white base is the original spaceship from the original Gundam series. It was called the White Base, I think. Now I'm second guessing myself. No, I think it is the White Base. So that's one hint, right? But then the next hint is this next picture. He posts another picture with the Gundam. So the doll next to the Gundam, I really think it's going to be a Gundam collaboration. Now in the same post, he also posted pictures of Naruto and I think Code Geass as well. But Code Geass and Naruto we already know happened. Naruto hasn't been released yet, but we've at least seen the prototypes, and Code Geass we already have 2 characters that are out. And supposedly, not supposedly, but at some point, a third, which is C2, which everybody's waiting for, including myself. So we already know that, and the only pictures that he showed that weren't things that we didn't know of yet were Gundams and Gundam-related stuff. So I'm assuming he's got an anime collaboration coming out with Gundam. Now, what can that be? Speculation time, people! Speculation time! Okay, so here's my take on it, right? Here we go. This is my take. If Danny Chu, in fact, got a collaboration with Gundam, here are my top picks, my top 4. I'll give you 4, okay? 4 top picks. Now, he said white base, he took a picture of, he showed the original Granddaddy Gundam. So my very first pick that I think might be an anime collaboration with Gundam and Bandai Namco is Sailor Mask. From the original Gundam series, I think Sailor Mask could be the next anime collaboration from Smart Doll with Gundam. If it is even Gundam at all, okay? This is just my speculation. I think Sailor Mask would be a good one from the original series. I was really thinking Lala Soon, but the only reason why I didn't pick Lala Soon was because I feel like Sailor was the more popular girl. In Japan, I think actually Lala Soon was the more popular girl, but I think like worldwide overall, I think Sailor Mass was more popular, but I could be wrong. It could be Lala Soon, but I'm thinking it's Sailor Mass. Now, for those of you that are Gundam Wing fans, I keep forgetting her last name. Darlian, that's what it is. Relina Darlian could be another potential Smart Doll collaboration with Gundam. I think she's another good one. She's also a very popular character. Well, I shouldn't say very popular, but I would say she's a popular character from that series from Gundam that could be an anime collaboration. Now, also, this one's my personal favorite. I would love to see, because it's my favorite Gundam show out of all the Gundams. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this, because people are already like, wait, it's not the original Gundam UC that's your favorite? I'm sorry. But my favorite is Gundam Seed, and I really want a Lacus Clyne Smart Doll. Lacus Clyne, oh my god, I would go insane for Lacus Clyne. I would love to have a Lacus Clyne Gundam collaboration Smart Doll. I think she would be awesome. I really want one. She's just overall super cool, in my opinion. I really want a Lacus Clyne one. And then lastly, from the more newer series, because as you can see, this is like the original Gundam, something a little bit newer, early 2000s, then later 2000s, and then we have today. From the newest released movie of Hathaway's Flash, you have Gigi Andalusia. I think Gigi Andalusia could also be a potential Gundam collaboration with Smart Doll. Any of these four girls would be an awesome collaboration. Now, if you think about it, Sailor Mass would be an anime, I think, collaboration. Relina could be a semi-real anime collaboration. Lacus is definitely anime collaboration. And Gigi Andalusia, I could see being a semi-real type of sculpt for an anime collaboration. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. These are my top 4 picks for a Gundam collaboration with Smart Doll. Now, you're wondering, they're all girls, Shizusan. Why are they all girls? Well, because the majority of what Denichu releases are girls. So I think it's possible it's going to be a girl character. But I could be wrong, right? Because the Naruto collaboration, the first one coming out, is a boy. It's Naruto. Code Geass collaboration, the first ones that came out was Lelouch and Spinzaku. So they were both boys. Cowboy Bebop collaboration, it wasn't even Faye Valentine, it was Spike Spiegel. So it's quite possible it could be a male doll. So we really don't know. This is just my personal hopes. I hope it's a female doll, and I hope it's one of these girls, because I would go crazy for either one of them. But more so, I'd go crazy for a Lacus Clyne Smart Doll collaboration. I think that would be so awesome. Now, if I don't have any pictures of them, but if it were to be a boy, obviously some notable characters would be Char Aznavour. People would probably say, why Char, not Amuro? Because, let's face it, Char is the coolest one out of everybody in the UC. Some people might hate me for saying that, but come on, Char Aznavour is the coolest one. It could be Hiro Yui. It could be, what's his face? I can't even remember his name now from Iron Blood Orphans. I can't remember his name now. Darn. But it could be the kid from Iron Blood Orphans, but that would be a little bit harder to do. It could be the main character from Gundam 00, which I don't remember his name either. It could be Kira Yamato from Gundam Seed. You know, you never know. But if it were to be a male doll, I think 9 times out of 10 would most likely be Char Aznavour. I really think Char Aznavour would probably be what Denichu picks if it were to be a boy doll for Smart Doll Gundam collaboration. But I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section down below if you're excited for a possible Gundam collaboration or not. I think this would be awesome, and these are my 4 top candidates. Okay, I spent a lot of time on that because I was just really excited for it. So next up, let's talk about this next piece. This is the Cyborg torso. So Denichu's basically said that he's releasing, or in the works of releasing, a torso body, this cyborg torso part for your floating heads. So a lot of us may have floating heads, either buying from Chaos or just buying secondhand from somebody, or buying from the grid, or buying from, you know, wherever you get your heads from. And you just have floating heads lying around, and this is a really cool way to display it. So you can display it on a table, like it's shown there. It has like little legs or whatever, displayed on table. And apparently you can also maybe display it on an evolve frame. This is it. This is the cyborg, you know, torso bust thing on a cyborg, on an evolve frame. So that's another possibility that makes me think the evolve frame might happen. It may happen because it's shown as a collaboration here. And also another thing to note, you can see here in this and in this picture as well, you could see the VO1 head from the April Fool's thing as well. So there's the head right there, like, and it's pretty cool. I really think the VO1 head could actually be a thing. And you could see here in both these pictures, there's no real eye indentation, so to speak. Like, there's a little bit of it, but you can make it like a little bit more oval like this one, or you can make it like this one where it looks a little bit more of a elongated shape eyes. And this is a cool thing that you could do with this head if he were to release it, is you can have the sleeping look, which I think this is really cool. Now personally, if I were to buy one, I'd probably only get one, because most of my dolls I want looking at me, especially when I do, you know, not in the creepy way, but when I do like photo shoots or things like that, I'd like to have like the eyes kind of focused on the camera. But for certain particular shots, I could see this being really cool, as having a sleeping head. Another thing you do is you can have a winking head, one eye open, one eye closed, that you could paint onto. So there are some pretty good possibilities for this VO1 head that I think could be done if he were to release it. That's one of the things that I really think, out of all the April Fool's thing, could really come to fruition. There are some pretty good possibilities with this. The only thing is that would he have them pre-painted, or would he have them blank like Chaos heads, and then you would have to face up yourself or find a face up artist to do it. But I think this is really cool. So you can put it on the, attach it to the evolved you know, body here, or you can go one step further, and he says you can actually put it on like a bust on your smart doll. So you can have a regular smart doll with a cyborg bust. So this is really interesting in the direction that it can go, because if you can get a cyborg bust and you can get a cyborg shin, you know, I know the shin was supposed to be for the amputee thing, but you could also use it as a cyborg part. I feel like eventually a torso with the thighs cyborg piece attachment could come out, or just the shell, and then you would just have to disassemble your doll and put it together. And then why not forearms and, you know, upper arm, biceps, you know, I mean, you could get a full-on Battle Angel Alita look if Danny decided to go that route. So I think this is very interesting, that you can actually attach this to the torso. Now, is there an ETA on this? No. There's no ETA on this. There's not even a definite. He didn't say he definitely is doing it, but he is really seriously taking a look at it and trying different prototypes. He's saying there are certain areas of the bust that you can cut holes into, like if you wanted to put wires through it for anything. And he's also trying out different color schemes. Like, he's asking, would you like to see it in silver like it is here? Would you like to see it in black? Maybe even Iron Man colors where it's like gold and red. You know, what kind of metallic colors would you like to see? Put it down in the comment section down below what you would like to see different colors for of this prototype cyborg bust. I think this is really cool. I have probably, if I were to get a floating head, I would definitely have to buy one of these. This definitely looks awesome. Even if it's just for display on a table, I think it's pretty cool to have. You know, if you have a floating head to display it like that, you know, the possibilities are endless. I think this is a really good idea, and I really hope it comes to fruition. Especially when you can see here how the VO1 head comes into play. I mean, just look at this. Like, 3 different versions he's showing you of the V01 head. So, I mean, it's possible. V01 heads to be released, I really think it's coming. And this cyborg bust, I think this is a win-win. I think he should release it. I think it would be really awesome. But who knows? Who knows? So next up, Danny Chu is working with at Maruko Halu from Twitter. If you don't know who she is, she does amazing clothes, and sometimes it could be really hard to get her clothing because they sell out really fast. But she is doing a collab with Danny Chu to make the Solar Marine flight suit. Now this flight suit looks really cool. I really like the way it looks. I think it looks awesome, just as much as the Solar Marine uniform looks awesome. Now, unfortunately, this uniform, the flight suit, it has no ETA. It's still in the works. He's still working out color options. I think this color option's really cool. I would like to see an urban camo look too, because I'm just a huge fan of urban camo. So for those of you that don't know, the urban camo is more of that like white with dark gray and light gray kind of pattern to it. Not really a snow camo. It's urban. It's a little bit more like grayish. So I think an urban camo look would look really cool. But even this Desert Storm kind of looking camo is still pretty awesome. I think it's a really cool outfit. Would I buy one? Maybe. I might. I mean, I just got done saying it's really cool. It's just that, you know, nowadays I have to be really picky what I buy, because I'm trying to keep my spending habits low because I've been spending way too much on doll stuff lately. And I want to really nitpick on what I buy, only because I want to save up money to go on a big trip, take my family out on a big trip, which we haven't done in like maybe 10 years now. We haven't gone on a big family trip, like, you know, without having to go to one of my doll conventions as part of the trip. Like, and I want to take my family out somewhere, so I really got to cut down on my spending as much as I possibly can. So as much as I think this is really cool, I'm not sure I'm going to get it, because I really want the Solar Marine uniform instead. So if I had to pick between the two, I think I'd get the Solar Marine uniform. So there's no ETA on the flight suit, and the Solar Marine uniform, that's going to be coming out sometime in the summer. At least that's the estimated ETA, is summertime. And then lastly, what I want to talk about is something just really cool. Danny Chu always takes his team out. I think it's really cool. Like, if you work for Danny Chu, I mean, I never worked for him. I never worked for him. I worked with him, but only like when he comes to conventions. Like, I help him out in the booth. So I don't know if that really counts as, you know, working for him or anything, but I was helping out, basically. I was just helping him out when he comes here stateside, with, you know, helping with the booth stuff. But for his team, his actual team that works with him, his actual employees in Japan, he takes them out, man. Like, I don't know if that's just like a really cool thing that he does, or if it's still a cool thing, but if it's something that he does because he pushes his employees so hard, you know, to get these deadlines done. Because, you know, you always hear him say that, you know, work-life balance. He always promotes work-life balance. You know, he doesn't want to work his team to death, which is why they have non-traditional Japanese work hours in his company. So I just think this is really cool. Like, if you have been following Danny for a while, you see a lot of these pictures. I think they do it maybe 4 times a year, like fall, winter, spring, and summer. So he takes his, I don't know if it's the entire team or only certain members, or I don't know how it works, but he does take his employees out, and I think this is just really cool. So the last thing that they did was Hokkaido, and then the newest one that they just finished was over in Okinawa. So I just want to say, you know, just give them props, give Danny Chu props for being such a great employer to his employees, and giving props to the employees themselves for working so hard for us here in the doll community. We really appreciate everything from Smart Doll. You guys go above and beyond. So just wanted to do another thank you to Danny Chu and his team for all their hard work. And you guys deserve it. These little vacations that Danny's throwing for you. I think this is really awesome. I wish my company did that, but it would never happen at my company. But it's just cool. It's just really cool, and I just like to give a shout out to Danny and his team whenever I can, because they're very hardworking, you know, for what they do. Because you think about it, you know, competitors to Smart Doll is something like Volks, something like A-Zone, Obitsu, you know, Pull Up, and those are big companies. You know, it's not like Danny, where, you know, they have like a very small space, like 2 or 3 floors in one building, you know, and he has a staff of like, I don't know how many, maybe like 20 people, 14, like 15, 20, at most 30 people, I guess. Whereas you have something like Volks, which is like a multi-million-dollar corporation or something like that has like many different facilities and different, you know, departments and all that kind of stuff. And I'm assuming A-Zone too, very big company, you know. And, you know, to have Smart Doll and Danny and his small team pump out the volume of dolls and the variety of doll clothing and dolls themselves is just amazing. And for him to be able to do all that and fit a work-life balance, you know, working schedule and these little vacations is just amazing. So whenever I get a chance to big up Danny and his team, you know, I'll take that opportunity. But that really is everything for today's episode of the Doll Symposium. It's getting long in the tooth here. We're already at 1 hour. So it's been a long time since the last Doll Symposium. So I guess it's kind of called for it to be a little bit long. But that brings up to our next part, the community shout out. So we do have one submission for the community shout out. And this particular person wants to remain anonymous, so they only posted this picture to share, and this is their doll named Rai. Now, Rai is a hybrid OG original milk AG head on a plastic BJD body. So it's not specified what BJD plastic body he's on, but that is Rai, who is an OG milk AG head. So thank you for participating in the community shout out. And remember, if anybody wants to have their community shout out featured, please send me an email at dlwshizusan@gmail.com. Please post a picture or pictures of whichever doll or dolls that you want to, you know, present to the community, as well as any information that you want to give out, like your name or your Instagram handle, your Twitter handle, your YouTube channel, your Etsy shop, whatever. And if you want to leave a message for me to read out for the community, just put it all in the email. Just make sure that it's, you know, at least somewhat family friendly of a picture. If it's not, I'll email you back and ask for like something a little bit more family friendly. But I've never gotten any issues with any pictures that have been sent to me. So everybody's been really cool with their picture submissions. And just make sure you specify in your email what you want me to disclose over the internet on YouTube and what you would rather keep private and you don't want me saying. I don't want to accidentally say something that you didn't want me to say publicly out in the open. So just make sure you specify what you want me to you know, divulge out to all the community, or what you want to keep private. Okay, so that really ends today's episode of the Doll Symposium. Thank you everybody for coming. So let me see. Oh, sorry. So thank you everybody for coming for the Doll Symposium. Quick announcements. So while I do the quick announcements, let's bring Asuna back, since she's going to be here for the closing. Yay, Asuna, so cute. I love her. She is so cute. So small little announcements. So I said it in the beginning, just remember every Friday there should be a new video from me. The Beyond the Doll is going to be a 10 p.m. live show on YouTube, and then the Doll Symposium will be a recorded show that's going to be out every other Friday. So remember, the order is Beyond the Doll, Doll Symposium, Beyond the Doll, Doll Symposium. There may be a week or two where there's going to be no episode. So if that were to happen, like let's say it was supposed to be the Doll Symposium Friday, if there's no episode that day, then the next Friday will be Doll Symposium, and then after that will be Beyond the Doll, and then it will follow the same regiment. Now the reason why I say that is because there are a couple events coming up that I may be attending. It's not 100% sure as of yet, but if I do go to an event like a convention where I have to speak, I won't be able to do a show on Friday. So I will let you guys know ahead of time if there will not be a Friday show, but just expect there to be something every Friday. And then the last thing I wanted to go over is I did end up starting a brand new YouTube channel, but it's not doll related. So for those of you that are interested, I am very, very big into Final Fantasy XIV, the online MMO RPG video game. I've mentioned it quite a number of times in a lot of videos, and I finally decided to do a new channel featuring Final Fantasy XIV. Now, this is not a private YouTube channel, meaning that it's not just me. It's a collaborated channel between myself and 2 of my other friends. Most of it will just be live streaming. I live stream every now and then on Tuesdays and Saturdays, like randomly, just showing gameplay of whatever me and my friends are doing. It's just random things that we do. And then I started a new show on that channel that's called From the Beginning, where essentially I made a brand new character and I'm starting the game literally from the beginning. And there's reasons for doing that. One reason is because they changed the way that the story goes in a couple of the dungeons and the speed of which things that go, so that it's to help out new players. Because if you're a brand new player, it's kind of intimidating to get into this game because there's a lot of history. And that's a big turnoff for a lot of people because they're like, oh, if I play this game, I just want to play it with my friends, and if I have to start from the beginning, it's going to take me forever to catch up. So I'm testing out that theory, essentially, is I'm playing it from the very beginning to see how long it will take me to get caught up with everybody else, or how fast. Now, you would think because I'm doing it this way, I do it every day to see how long it would actually take, but I'm really just doing it pretty much every Sunday and Wednesday evenings. And I have only 2 subscribers right now to that channel, so I'm not asking you to subscribe out of pity. I'm just saying that I can't create a custom link for you guys to use. Like with this channel, I have www.youtube.com/Shizusan, and it's a very easy way of finding my channel using that link. I can't do that with that channel because in order to make a custom link, you have to have at least 100 subscribers. So I have no custom link to give you guys for that channel. The only thing I could say is that if you're interested in watching Final Fantasy XIV, like if you've always been interested in the game but you weren't sure about it, come check out the channel. Everything is going to be on there, so if you missed an episode, you can always go back. All the episodes will be there if you wanted to check it out. You can find it on YouTube. Just search The Den of Scions. That's the name of the new channel. It's called The Den of Scions. I should have wrote that out. I'll write it in the description below. I should have had like a screen for it or something, but it's called The Den of Scions. So definitely check it out. Subscribe to it if you want to. If you want to help like support my secondary channel. There's not much editing going into this because pretty much all of it will be live streams, so I don't have to edit anything. I literally just turn it on and I just play. So it's a very easy channel for me to maintain because I only play for like an hour or 2 and then that's it. So yeah, I mean, it's not like it's going to take much away from the Doll channel, and the Doll channel is not going anywhere. That's my main focus. But if you wanted to watch some Final Fantasy content, let's say you got into the game and you wanted to participate in some activities online with me, you'll be featured, on my live stream. We could do dungeons together or something, who knows. But let me know. Check out my channel, The Den of Scions. But that's everything for today's episode. Thank you for coming to the Doll Symposium episode 23. As always, I am your host, Shizusan, and my lovely assistant today for today's episode is the very beautiful Asuna Yuki. So that's about it. Yeah, no other things to say. It's been a while, and we're back. So thank you, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. To get by.